Hello, I'm Victoria. Did this update? I thought I put Victoria on it. Well, it had the image in it. Okay. I'm okay. I'm Victoria Arciniega, and it's my individual growth update. I am a rising junior, and it's been very enjoyable being here, especially in person, because the 3 semesters I have been a NA&ME student have all been COVID semesters. So it's been really delightful being able to interact with people in person and being able to collaborate in person. So overview of the projects, I kind of have them in a more chronological order. But in the beginning, we really learned some hands-on power tools, especially with the funnel deconstruction, working with equipment sales, just helping maintain the model shop. Started the acoustic project, learning different type of CAD platforms, and then using those skills we learned at the beginning to go off on more individual projects. So that was, in my case, like doing acoustic tests on the carriage, using the hand skills I used to make the shorty booster and installing shelves, creating a trolley. So those are all kind of ways that we're trying to like improve the model shop to be more efficient and less wasteful in terms of time and how much steps you have to take between processes. And then also working on C-Pitch videos. So some skill sets that I've learned and have continued to improve upon include SOLIDWORKS and Fusion, which before this internship, I primarily used Autodesk Inventor. And so it's been interesting being able to transfer those skills over, but sometimes it was also really frustrating learning the skill on a new platform because you're like, I know I'm able to do this, but just re-navigating a familiar skill, but on a new platform. So getting over that frustration. Continuing to work with MATLAB, particularly for the acoustic project, continuing to work with Powtoons. Also for the acoustic project, learn how to navigate Diatom and Keysight Bench View, and also having introductions to Rhino and Illustrator have been useful. So in the images, I have the shorty booster and part of the shelf project, and I have a Powtoons of one of my C-Pitch videos where NA&ME is her name, and she's doing an experiment to show Newton's third law. Another facet of skill sets include like hand power tools and machinery. So becoming GIM certified on the miter saw, bandsaw for woodworking and for metalworking, sanders, reciprocating saws, grinders, and routers. And so those have all been very exciting to learn, and it's also exciting kind of getting over the learning curve, because at the beginning of starting a lot of projects, it's asking Jim for a lot of guidance and asking like, is this possible? Is this doable? Can you watch me as I do this? And he's been so supportive through all of it. And then once you become comfortable with it, just being able to start projects without constantly asking like, is this feasible? Is this like, does this make sense to do? Has really just, I think, accelerated the ability of being able to churn out projects. Another facet of skill sets that I've learned upon is acoustic knowledge. So particularly my largest takeaways are like the fast Fourier transform, data acquisition methods, kind of how we acquire the data, and also like processing theories of how people sample how they do, and like the different ways to process that is something that I've been interested in. Daria mentioned that they entered acoustic kind of because they were interested in sound. I kind of entered it because I was more interested in data. And so it's kind of interesting how differing interests lead to the same place, and how those two skills can come together. And yeah, so here I have just a fast Fourier transform project that I did. So outlook, kind of approaching working at the MHL, is trying to be practical, repurposing current materials, and also like having a desire to eliminate like wasteful processes in production process. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do in the model shop, of making things more efficient and minimizing like how much steps you have to take between things, making things more intuitive in the model shop for new interns, which also comes into new eyes. Like once you're here for a while, you develop many blind spots to things, which like people who are new to don't become, but I also now am starting to notice my own blind spots of like, I've never noticed this was there, because you just like zone it out in the background of your brain, and also listening to new approaches, because I've noticed that sometimes the way I approach things isn't the way other people would approach things, or sometimes my brain is like, well, that would be a lot of work and that sounds very destructive and unreversible. Why would we do that? It's like, oh, maybe that is a way to approach that and it'll be more efficient and be better in the long run. And so relearning kind of how to learn approaches is something new. And that's all. Thank you for attending this presentation. And any questions? No. Okay, that is all.
What was your favorite project that you worked on?
My favorite project. I think the shelf project was rewarding because that was right at getting over the learning curve of asking Jim how to do everything. So being able to do that project was exciting. And also it just cleared up a lot of real estate to really like inspire other projects or like reshuffling organization and things like that. So I think like the amount of turnaround that has happened since that project, I think that was like really the starting point of that turnaround. So that was probably my favorite. That is all.